Well, very interesting knowledge. Learning about the past. You know, it was, I didn't get to play the older editions, but what inspired me to eventually get into 3rd edition when it came out, my older brother had some old D&D content, including, well, it wasn't a monster manual then. It was like a Tome of Foes or something. And maybe I'm thinking Mordenkainen's. Or it was something along those lines. A monster no, not monster manual. Anyway, and I would just sit there and I'd look through the illustrations, you know, even if they're the simple black and white line drawings of monsters, and it had the ecologies of them, you know, it'd say, oh, they're located in the plains and the forests, and they ran in packs of 3 to 30. You know, it had all of this side information. And I would sit there as a little kid and I would just flip through this monster book looking at the illustrations. Yeah, a compendium. And I would just see things like the dragon turtle. And I would just imagine. I didn't even need the dice. I didn't even really know what the Thaco meant and all this other stuff. I just read the description. I looked at the illustration. And I was like, this seems so cool. It got me imagining fantastic things. And that was just looking at pictures and getting basic, you know, biome descriptions. Or, you know, their general alignment and behavior. And that's what set me on the path. Oh, Zerby. Oh, I'm sorry. But you'll continue to earn EXP as you watch. So bubonic, what you would do in situations like that? Let's say you were dodging out of the way of a fireball, right? So I was gonna deal 60 damage to you. Whoa, Journeyman! Hello to Journey and crew. Although, if you're coming aboard, just in case there's an ad, I'll wait like 30 seconds and say it again. Because isn't that the case? You go to raid someone, and you're like, oh, we're here! And then, you know, there's an ad playing, so all of the hype is gone. Too many tumbleweeds, it's good to see you again. Welcome and thank you for coming along the journey with Journeyman. Oh, you're Prime, so no ad. Gotcha, Barbarian. Well, Creative Creature Carla, thank you for the monkey and the tentacle dances there. And Journey, we're getting into part 2. We're making our second character of the evening. I just came off of a break to get a nice big pitcher of ice water. And before I begin the character creation process, which, hey, for any of you out there, if you want to see a creative way to make a completely random character and still have it be living, breathing, you know, a 3-dimensional character, you've come right at just at the right time. But anyway, thank you, Gingy Trucking, or Gingy Trucking, if you're a ginger. Cheers, Barbarian, cheers to you. And I was explaining to Bubonic how damage resistance can work here. So, now how do you want me to pronounce that? Is that Burnt Balkan? Burn T. Balchin? How would you like me to go about that? Okay, so Bubonic. Let's say that I'm throwing a fireball at you for 60 damage. And you do manage the dex saving throw, so you take half. So now you're at 30. Well, let's say you're a tiefling and you're resistant to fire. That means the 30 is going to go to 15. And let's say that your armor, well, I don't know, it's technically magic damage, but you could take your armor off at that point in time too. Balkan? Okay. Gingy is a character? Well, Gingy, if you're already role-playing, RP is welcome and encouraged over here. We have a lot of role players who are doing their own thing here, and you are fine for being a part of that. Balkan. Okay. By the way, there's a lot of fun chat games, and all of you are welcome to ask questions at any point in time. If you want to share stories of being a PC or a DM, if you're a first timer or an old timer, you are welcome to chat. While I may be building a random character up over here, you over here, you're the heart and soul of the channel. We're all sitting at a table in a game store, right? Pull up a chair. You're welcome. Let's talk. Let's be nerds together. Ask questions. If don't be shy if you're a first timer. If you just want to lurk, that's fine. But if you say, well, what are the numbers up here? What's a 15, 14, 13? I will happily answer any of that stuff. As long as you can bring your box. Yeah, Gingy, you can hide in your box if you want. So, Journeyman and everyone who came along, cheers. Journey, I hope you've been doing well, brother. I hope you're feeling better. You maybe have some... I don't want to get personal, but hopefully you're getting news, or hopefully even better news. And, on my end of things, because, Friday and everything with the cat, look, every day is getting better. I'll be getting her ashes sometime this week, maybe tomorrow. And, look, life moves on, we heal, and we become better people for all of the things we experience, even if they're bad or sad or tragic. The measure of who we are as people is how do we deal with those situations? How do we handle it? Because those are milestones in our life that we can compare how far we've come from our last one, and show true personal growth, and our growth not only as ourselves, but as members of a larger community. You recently saw that, this is Barbarian Jim says, I saw recently that my local comic store here has tables out on the sidewalk for gaming. You know what? We're getting into some good weather. Hopefully it's not too windy where you live, Barbarian, but some outside, tabletop games, those could be a lot of fun. Well, and, and thank you for your sentiment in return, Journeyman. So Gingy is hiding in the box for durability. So I don't know, Gingy, you may want to talk to our resident Owu Darkwolf. You might do well in her kingdom of Kittypendia, especially if you like juice boxes and drawing and coloring. I say that there's a whole thing of reference. Don't take that at face value as being weird. Oh, yes, and this is one of the other, by the way, for any of you here, this is another one of the factions that we have, is the True Good family. And the True Goods are 100% True Good. And Dr. Freakface here has taken over operation of the True Good Casino. So you all are welcome up to ! duel each other, or you can go into random battles and battle a wandering monster. We also have adventures. If you do, for instance, ! random plains, all one word, PLAINS, you can go on an adventure and a monster will pop out, and you can see if you can defeat the monster and earn more experience points. Chewy says some gamers need to get outside. It's a stereotype, but true. Yeah, and you know what? I joke about it. You have tanning salons where people go to get tan, and people come to my store to get pale. You think it's well? If you want to lock it in, Robert, we're gonna randomly determine all of the aspects of this character. So it could end up being a halfling paladin, but who knows? True Goods aren't that bad. It's the avocado. Yes, so there's a secret organization. If you like avocados, welcome. You're in the avocado. We are a secret organization akin to the Illuminati, where it is our goal to put avocado in as much stuff as possible. avocado mayonnaise, avocado on toast, guacamole on chips instead of salsa, probably like avocado sun lotion and other stuff, avocado shampoo. If you love avocado and guacamole, welcome to the avocado. You to make food, have a great stream, Journeyman, dude, rock on. Or as I don't know if you watch a lot of Homestar Runner, but there's some characters in Homestar Runner called the Cheat Commandos, and Cheat Commandos rock on. You do the same, Journeyman. Toothpaste too. I live in an avocado growing mecca. Yep. So Balkan toothpaste, avocado toothpaste, and Barbarian is only fueling things here. Neon iguana, like on Mexican pizzas, yeah, or like in a 7-layer dip, or things like that. If you enjoy that, by the way, if you all want to join us, also if we're not broadcasting, you are welcome to hop over on our Discord. We have a lot of fun roleplay stuff. We can sit down if you have questions about a game and you want to work out mechanics for a storyline or to do something custom. Please join us on our Discord. We'll happily help you out with crunch, like rules, math and stuff, or fluff, writing, artsy stuff, whatever. We're all here, and we have an avocado symbol as an emote on our Discord as well. So you too can be in the avocado. Wink. We have an avocado fest in October. Most of us end up down at a brewery ducking the tourists. Well, I kind of know how that feels, Barbarian. Living in Sandusky, Ohio, we have Cedar Point, and the season is starting to hit. We're getting a lot of out-of-towners now, so a lot of my local watering holes are kind of going into, like the winter lunch specials are kind of falling off the menu now and such, so... Well, I mean that's the selling tagline, Ivlon. But I mean, there's the whole cheat commandos rock on. You're gonna head off to bed. It's late. All right, Tri-C, thank you for being a part of our channel tonight. They can, Barbarian. There's a summer that I spent for kind of poops and ha-has. I was Uber driving in our area for a summer, and you meet some very wonderful and interesting people, and you meet some people you're like, so this is why we can't have nice things. Chewy says, what movie was in Sandusky? Sandusky's been mentioned in several movies. It's been mentioned also in an episode of Metalocalypse and in an episode of Supernatural and in Warehouse 13. All right, so while we're chatting, for those of you who are curious, this is the process that we use to create a completely random character. By the way, I'll still interact with chat. You can ask questions over here, even though I'm doing stuff, for the character up here. So let's roll and see if we have a male or a female character or a multi-classed one. Roll a percentile. 40, we have another female character. 1 to 45 is female, 46 to 90 is male, 91 to 100 is multi-classed, and we'd roll again. I live in a town where a movie was the prime design. Oh, there's tons of movies filmed there, and like, oh, yay, it's another New York-based murder mystery show. Woo. 2 weeks ago, you met a cyclist on tour that's, heading to Argentina. Oh, if Sarah Skywalker was here, that's where she's from, actually. That's really cool, though, if he's going to be going on an international bike tour. All right, so we have a female. Now, what type of a character? We're going to roll a d10 and find out. There are 9 official races in the player's handbook. If I roll a 10, I'll re-roll, but let's see randomly which one we're going to get. 2. An elf. Right here. So I'm going to re-roll, and let's go odds or evens to determine is it a high elf or a wood elf. Evens. This is a high elf. So we have a female high elf. High elves are more prone to magic and studies. Wood elves are more kind of the wild children. They run around and play while the other ones are having their noses in books. Drow is an option, Chewy, if we roll evil here next. We're going to determine the alignment with a 2D100 roll. One axis, one of the hundreds is for evil, neutral, good. The other 100 is for chaotic, neutral, or lawful. $27 and 5. So 27 puts us in good, and 5 goes in lawful. We have a lawful good female high elf. So you can see bit by bit we're developing the character. If you want, just close your eyes. Like, look, I just have a PDF and a random dice roller out. If you want to challenge yourself, close your eyes as we're building this character and draw her in your mind. We're going to make we're pulling elements of her out of the chaos and the mists and the ethereal whatever. And we're going to give her shape and personality, and we're going to bring her to life throughout this process. Now let's determine what level she is. That's going to be 1 percentile roll. We rolled 8. All right, so she's going to be a level 4 character. A pretty solid starting level here. Level 4. Now, at level 4, you get something called an ability score improvement. In layman's terms, you get a stat bump. You get a little smarter, a little stronger, something along those lines. Instead of a stat bump, you can get a feat, which will allow you to specialize in something. I'm going to roll a percentile die and find out, are we taking the stat bump or are we going to specialize her in something? 35, that's a low roll, so we're going to give her a stat bump at level 4. Dr. Freakface, are you going to make characters with the new book at any point? Yes, Freakface. I'll probably wait a little bit to let people get their hands on it, since it's really been, stores that have had the special cover. In fact, I'm down to only one in my store. We started with at least half a dozen, and there's only one left now. So maybe after the general release, we can work with that in some way. You're going to play out Fallout 4 while watching? Well, thank you for still lurking, Barbarian. Cheers to you, and to all of the avocados that are down your way. I do not remember that one, Bubonic. All right, so those are stats. Now let's find out. You're wondering, well, that's fine. We have a high elf, but what? In other editions of D&D, it's been, I have a half-orc fighter. I have a human wizard. We'll get there. In 5th edition, your class is important, but it is one of the 3 legs of the stool upon which your character sits. In 5th edition, you have your race. You do have your class, but that's a wobbly stool. You're also going to get a background. The background represents what did you do before you were an adventurer? What helped you to learn how to swing that sword? What helped you to get some knowledge of the world or skills? Were you an apprentice to a blacksmith before you took up arms as a fighter? Were you an acolyte in a faith before you continued your studies, even in another direction as a cleric? This is a part of your character, and it's an excellent bridge of crunch or mechanics, the math and everything of your character, and fluff, which is the writing and the storytelling in the background. So I'm going to generate a 13-sided die down here, and I'm going to hit roll, and we're going to find out which of the 13 backgrounds we will be. 3. That is this is a criminal or a spy. Now you may say, well, look, we have how can we have a criminal or a spy as a lawful good character? That's a very good question. Maybe she's a reformed criminal. Maybe she still has contacts in the criminal underworld, but she's separated herself. Or if she's a spy, she's a lawful good spy, then she's trying to infiltrate an evil organization. So things at face value, especially in 5th edition, things at face value you don't have to be locked into some of the older concepts of alignment or of character ideas that had come up in prior editions of D&D or that have been nurtured in other fantasy role-playing games. That's true, Evelyn. Doesn't mean that you wanted to commit a crime or that you've been found guilty of one. Bubonic One here is playing an IMDb game here. High school kid stole U-132 from his father's workplace and built a thermonuclear bomb and brought this to a science fair in New York City. Can you name the town that the movie was shot in? And you're saying that the name of the movie is the Manhattan Project. But can you name the city it was shot in? Good morning to you, Kruger. I mean, unless you made a very obvious clue and it was Manhattan, I don't know. Did they choose like a quaint, like New York, like an upstate suburb city or something for this? These are random PC characters, Rogue. I mean, you could run them as NPCs if you want. I guess you could argue because there's not a human behind them that we are generating NPCs. But these PCs are going to be the 5 characters that we're going to take through the campaign at the end of the week. Alright, now, as a criminal or a spy, you have a D8 origin of some kind. What kind of a criminal are you, or how did you get your start? So let's roll a D8. 3. And up here in parentheses, I'm just going to put number 3. Do I know what number 3 is? No. Do I care? Not right now. I just want a placeholder. We'll develop her personality later. We got to get the numbers out of the way first. Also, as a part of every background, you are going to get 2 personality traits. Every background has 8 personality traits, so we're going to hit 2d8 and roll it. 5 and a 2. Again, these are placeholders. I don't know, and right now I don't care what it is. I want it to be a surprise. We're going to build her all at once, and we're going to tell her tale along the way. Now let's roll 3d6. 1 for her ideal, 1 for her bond, 1 for her flaw. 5, 3, 5. There we go. Risky Luke, you're lurking and hello? Well, hello to you, Risky Luke. You are welcome to lurk as much as you want. You can participate in the role-playing over here. You can ask trivia like Bubonic One. Role-playing, you can share stories, ask questions. Interact with this channel as you want to, Risky. Reason it was shot in Ithaca was because the student was going to go to Cornell after he graduated. Well, I did not know that bit of movie trivia, Bubonic. So Kruger's hunger and his laziness are competing to find out who's going to win. Creative Creature Carla, another Tri-C, kind of like we have a comic. Oh, why am I derping on his name? Shame on me. No, Coffee Cat. Creative Coffee Cat. So is Creative Creature Carla in another Tri-C? Anyway, question if I may. Do you roll for what character you'll be every game, or can you create your own character and roll for the stats and such? You're an extreme noob? Well, welcome extreme noob. There is no shame in asking questions like this. And Yvonne is correct. The answer is yeah. This is really up to you and the other players, as well as the person who's going to be running the game, who's known as the DM or the Dungeon Master. Your DM might ask you to roll certain aspects of your character randomly, or your DM will say, no, make whatever you want. I trust you. If you feel really compelled to make an elven ranger who uses a bow and arrow, then make an elven ranger who uses a bow and arrow. The reason why we're doing this here, this way, Creative, or Carla, is to challenge ourselves. We're doing this through pure randomness so we can exercise our brains in storytelling and character concept in order to try and get into this character, to think about, in this case, her, to think about her and her personality and her origin. She might be a smooth criminal, Norton. Barbarian, welcome to the back of the room with the rest of us lurkers. Yeah. Sadly, my hunger won and I wanted to sleep. Oh, doctor. Well, you know what? If you're running that casino, the True Good Casino, you know, you get free snacks and drinks as long as you're playing the slots, right? No, not necessarily, Evelyn. It's really dependent on the individual person. If Carla knows she wants to play an Elven Ranger bow user, that doesn't take days of planning to do. I do things randomly this way because it's a good challenge. We're pulling random elements out. We're making non-optimal characters. In some cases, well, I mean, really in all cases, none of them are optimized or care-opt. But it's a good way to think about different types of characters to find inspiration. And it's also what we're doing here, because I'm not running a game on Roll20, is it's a way for us to have a group storytelling session. Any of you out there in the audience can give your ideas and thoughts on the character as we're building her. This isn't my character. You know, my ego's not damaged if you don't choose the thing that I want you to do. Risky Luke, thank you very much for the follow. You made ham sandwiches, macaroni. Oh, good stuff, Doctor. Very good comfort food. Dark Wolf is also giving cheese crackers and juice boxes. And Kruger's downloading State of Decay 2. Romantic, I'd like to stick around to see these randomly generated players in the campaign because I'm interested in 5e, but my schedule's pretty crazy. You can also go back and watch the VODs, Romantic, if that helps you if that helps you at all. Also, you can find the character creation videos on YouTube. Carla, I see, thank you. The only couple D&D groups I've met in person were pretty big gatekeepers, which kind of turned me away from finding a D&D group. Uh-oh, how are they gatekeepers? What were they doing? By the way, there's the YouTube link, and here is the link to our Discord as well. If you want to continue to talk, ask questions, share stories, or whatever in an offline, or I mean like an off-broadcast setting. All right, so we filled in placeholders for her personality. We'll determine what that is in just a little bit here. Now, what is her class? The question we've all been waiting for. An elf what? Is it going to be an elven bard? Are we going to roll a 2? I don't know. Let's see. Let's hit this big golden button and find out. This is a D12, by the way, and we're rolling that because there are 12 classes in the player's handbook. An 11. Ooh, we are building a warlock. A warlock is a very interesting type of caster. Alright, so a warlock gets to have a patron that grants them a style of magic. They also have a pact with that patron that grants them certain mechanics. I'm going to roll a D3. I'm going to manufacture a 3-sided die and roll it twice. And we're going to find out who our patron is and which kind of pact our character has made with that patron. 1 and 3. So we have made a pact with the Archfey. And the type of pact we've made is 3. Pact of the Tome. So here I wrote in Warlock, and I'm going to put in Fey/Tome to accentuate what kind of a Warlock we are. What does that mean? Don't worry just yet. We'll get there. We'll get there. You can ask those questions if you want, but we will address it. Right now you're reading Ars Magica because I might join as a group. Ah, okay. Now, the last bit of placeholders. We've talked about, well, some of her personality. As we're making this mental image in our mind, let's give her some physical characteristics. High elves here start at a base height of 4 feet 6 inches tall. We are going to roll 2d10 and add those inches to her height. Now, to go back to what you're talking about, Carla, your DM probably, I mean, you said that your last one was heavily had gatekeepers. I mean, if it's really awkward or something, you don't have to say, but what were they gatekeeping in the group? But anyway, look, in many cases, choose your character's, gender, height, weight, eye color, etc. So we're going to roll our 2d10, and we're going to add 10 inches to 4 foot 6. So she is clearly 4 feet 16 inches tall. There we go. We're going to take this same 10 that we generated, okay? And we are going to multiply that by 1d4. By 1. So that means 10. We're going to add 10 pounds to her base weight of 90. So she is 5'4" and 100 pounds. Now, this is just her getting up in the morning. She's got on, her jammy pants and a nightcap or something. Like a little sleeping cap. And this isn't her backpack. It's not her boots. It's not her, crystal ball or whatever. This is just her. Now I'm going to roll a percentile to find out randomly where she is in her cycle of life. Right? We created a random distribution curve. And let's roll on it and find out. 24, and that's going to fall in young adult. Now, for an elf, young adult here, so this is column 2. A young adult is between 100 and 200 years old. Right? You're recognized as an adult, akin to us turning 18, or, if you're in another country, it could be 16 or 15 or 17. In Japan, it's 20. So, as an elf, you may have physically matured, at 20. You may be your full height. But elven society doesn't recognize you as an adult until you're 100. So I'm going to roll a 100, and we're just going to find out. Okay, she's a young adult at 109. Okay, there we go. We have finished the random number generation portion of the character. I'm following along here with your conversation, Evelyn and Romantic. I've heard of Ars Magica. I haven't played it. I couldn't tell you what is making it unique or different, but I'm glad that you two are like synchronizing on that. Alright. This is also different from standard character creation. I'm beginning with the background of the character. And I'm doing this because this is a defining moment. This is going to give us skills and a mentality for her character that we don't just get by virtue of her being her race or even her class. Why did she decide to become a warlock as a criminal or a spy? Well, warlocks actually lend themselves pretty well to that, and we'll get into that. But I start with background first. Also, because your background gives you skill proficiencies, if you find redundancies later, it's easier to kind of avoid redundancies. Ars Magica is basically Mage Dark Ages, and it has a really awesome magic system that works like a language. Oh, interesting. Plus it has a style of GMing where each player takes a turn in the GM seat from session to session, troop style. That does sound very interesting. It looks like it's been around for a while if it's gone through several editions as well. Alright, all of the backgrounds here are alphabetical, so there's Acolyte, Charlatan, and here's Criminal. We are going to get skill proficiencies in deception and stealth. So right here, I'm going to fill in the dots, deception and stealth. What are they doing right now? Well, there's no numbers. Don't worry about it. One step at a time. Think conceptually about the character first. Just build her in your mind's eye. We have a female high elf, right? She's a criminal or maybe a spy. We'll decide that later. And number 3 means that she's an enforcer. She's the one who goes out and collects the insurance money, quote unquote. She's a bouncer at a bar or a concert. She's a strong, you know, she's like, you know, she doesn't have to be like physically a bruiser, but she's an enforcer for an organization. Estwild, hello. Story for tonight. My Eldritch Knight failed an acrobatics check and fell off a crashed airship stuck in some trees. And then the following round, a part of that airship other people were fighting on became overloaded and fell to the ground on you. It fell in pieces, thankfully, so no rip yet. Oh, jeez. That still would have been really scary, right? You just fell out of this thing, you're looking up, and now giant chunks of airship are falling down around you. Oh, my gosh. And romantic, yeah, please report back on this role-playing experience. Share it with other people. Especially if you come over to our Discord here. Tales from the Tabletop. If you come over here. Rogue Infinity. No, I have not heard of that. Would you like to describe it a little bit? An RPG called Tephra. Whoops. There we go. It's a steampunk RPG revolving around the D12. Oh, a nice underutilized die. McCoolman, Shadowrun. I've heard of it. I have not gotten to play it, unfortunately. Alright, our background feature is a criminal contact. So even though we may not be an active criminal, or, I mean, if we go spy, it's kind of like your chief or something, or a fellow spy that passes notes back and forth, this is a way for you to be able to still interact. You know, you have friends in low places, as the Garth Brooks song, as that great bard Garth Brooks so eloquently sings, I have friends in low places. This is a very fluid, a very awesome background, or a trait for your background, a feature. And remember, if you're playing 5th edition, your background feature is meant to be used. Don't forget about it. This is a part of the game. Some of them actually have you directly speaking to your DM because you are drawn into the plot because you've made some great discovery, or you know how to get knowledge, and so you can actively sort of like ping for libraries and things like that. Hey, who here knows what this is? Urukai? I know what that is, but I'll give people over pardon, I'll give people over here a chance. Rifts. I've actually played the Rifts RPG. It's not my favorite. In my opinion, look, we all have different preferences. Rifts becomes kind of convoluted, and there's all kinds of different dice and different things. I had fun playing it, but I just, the mechanics of it were just sort of like, You're just dropping by to say hi? Well, McCoolman, hello, and then goodbye if you're popping out, or if you're going to go into lurk mode. Cool, thank you very much. Because, and actually, Cool Man, you bring up an interesting point. Popping in Right now, and especially thank you to Journeyman and everyone who came over with him. Right now we're hovering around 30. And if you don't know this about channels, you get 2 metrics back after you finish a broadcast. There's how many people kind of popped into your channel, and then you have active chatters. And an active chatter is someone, I think, who has just even said something. Rogue Infinity, thank you very much for that host. And so, McCoolman, by stopping in, you've improved not just 1 metric, but 2 metrics for the channel. Even if you're just like, hey, like / something along those lines, thank you for taking the time to both stop by and even say hi before you have to go and do whatever you're doing. Convoluted like GURPS that you like, also romantic. I've not gotten to play GURPS. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. I mean, it is a universal roleplay system, right? General universal roleplay system. But I imagine to be that flexible, there's a lot of modular pieces you have to kind of put in and out. All right, so we have our criminal contact. We have our skill specialties. What are we? Oh, we're also going to get a specialty in one type of gaming set. So maybe she's a card shark, or she's good at dice rolling, or she plays dragon chess. I'm going to put a placeholder up here with 3 question marks so I know that I can come back to it. Right now, the gaming the gaming set of her choice, could it be relevant? Maybe. And if any of you have suggestions out there, this is not my character. As we build her, you're like, no, she's a card player. Well, you can shout that out and I'll fill that in. We are also going to get Thief Tool proficiency. As well, we are going to get a crowbar, which I think every good thief should name their crowbar. And dark clothes with a hood. And a belt pouch with 15 gold pieces in it. And we can use that for extra shopping, because our background and our class is going to give us things to start out with, or with which to start out. All right, here's those personality traits, right? There's 8 of them, and we randomly decided on 2. Cool Man was saying, are you playing the Wednesday D&D at 2? Oh, well, I'm sorry, McCoolman, I'm not... Okay, gotcha. That's Ivlon. Yeah, got it. All right. I'm not playing in that one, Cool Man. Dark Wolf is an active lurker. Yeah, so Cool Man or anyone else, if you want to kind of just like creep in on Ivlon's run, Ivlon, are you going to stream that, or are you going to, are you going to run that in one of the roleplay rooms on our Discord, and do people just need to mute their mics if they're not participating? Can you let us know how to interact with your session? Persuasion for the crowbar name? Sure, we'll do that. A crowbar named Persuasion. I'll just use my persuasion to get me in here. Alright, so her personality characteristics, 5. I am incredibly slow to trust. Those who seem the fairest often have the most to hide. And number 2, I am always calm, no matter what the situation. I never raise my voice or let my emotions control me. Also, this is why it's important to do your background first. Her personality will help influence the skills that she's picked up along the way, even in her by being a warlock. Her gaming set is obviously D&D. How meta. She's good at playing Gwent. Gwent? Gwent. One of those two. Her ideal is number 5. People. I'm loyal to my friends, not to any ideals, and everyone else can take a trip down the sticks for all I care. So she's slow to trust, but if you are her friend, she will stick beside you. Her bond is number 3. Something important was taken from me, and I aim to steal it back. By the way, bonds are excellent fodder for your DM. You know, work with your DM because you're going to help provide plot hooks and to make your character like very visibly ready to be hooked into a story and drawn in. Robert, her game set should be bones. Bones as in dice. McCoolman, experience points. You can play different games, and you can activate a lot of different fun roleplay prompts with your experience points. Yep, Tycho is correct. Now, her flaw, because we all are flawed creatures, even if we're good guys, is... dominoes. Oh, gotcha. All right. I'll go put that here. Is number 5. I turn tail and run when things look bad. So she does have a little bit of a survival instinct here. There we go. Yeah, flaws are good prompts for the DM too. McCoolman, so as you can see, Romantic Day is going into a Tome adventure. It will randomly generate a monster and a difficulty to overcome it and a reward. So in this case, he's... Oh, a disadvantage. 17. Oh, even with a 13, though. A disadvantage, you keep the lowest. Romantic, nice. You defeat the Were-Rat, and you have earned 600 experience points. Oh yeah, Romantic, you just got enough experience points to go into the tomb. That's true, you haven't gotten to spend that yet. So actually, Romantic Day, you're going to get 1,200 experience points. Alright, so we're an enforcer as a criminal or spy. Let's see. Although your capabilities are not much different from those of a burglar or smuggler, you learned and practiced them in a very different context, as an espionage agent. You might have been an officially sanctioned agent of the Crown, or perhaps you sold the secrets you uncovered to the highest bidder. So let's go back. Let's look at her personality. Pardon, I'm drinking a lot of water because my voice feels like it's getting a little weak. Does my voice sound weak or raspy or something to you all? Incredibly slow to trust. Those who seem the fairest often have the most to hide. Always calm, loyal to my friends. I don't know. I'm kind of getting the spy aspect, right? Especially if she's lawful good. She's working on behalf of a more benevolent force. Though she's using her unique talents in a particular way. We can go with this direction. All right, we have finished her background. Now let's go and find out what she gets by being a high elf. I mean, it's important stuff, but just by being a high elf doesn't necessarily guarantee a personality or a prompt for role-playing. So, there's a lot of fluff that we've passed by. There's a lot of fun stuff to read in this book. Let's focus, though, on the numbers for right now. Our dex score increases by 2. All elves get this. So I'm going to put a little placeholder right here that we're going to get 2 in dex. We have our age alignment. We are a medium-sized creature. We do have a base speed of 30 feet, meaning that we have a 15 climb and a 15 swim and a 0 fly. We are going to get 60 feet of dark vision because we have elven eyes and they see things. We also have keen senses. We are proficient in the perception skill. So we're going to come down here and fill in this little button right here. Urluk, Hydo, Half-Orc Pally, Oathbreaker. Perfect for a BBEG. Well, so Bubonic is supplying you some concepts to take a look at. I'll do that here shortly, Bubonic. We also have Fey Ancestry. We have advantage on saving throws against being charmed. So over here in advantage, I'm just going to put versus charmed. And also, we cannot be magically put to sleep. As an elf, we are also going to get what's called trance. We don't have to sleep for 8 hours to get a full rest like other races. As an elf, all we have to do is meditate for 4 hours in a semi-conscious state, and we'll get the full benefits of resting for 8 hours. We're going to be able to speak Common and Elven. And this is what elves get. Now we're going to apply the High Elf template to this. We are going to increase our intelligence score by 1. So I'm going to put a little placeholder here. Elf weapon training. You have proficiency with the longsword, short bow, and longbow. So over here in weapons, I'm going to put long/short, sword/bow. However you want to do it, as long as you know that you have those proficiencies. And it continues. Here we go. You know one cantrip of your choice, or like a low-level spell that we can use an infinite amount of times. You know one cantrip of your choice from the wizard spell list. Intelligence is your spellcasting ability for it. So I'm just going to put HE for High Elf. That way we know we're getting a cantrip from our race. Because being a Warlock is going to grant us other cantrips. And if your DM ever wants to look at your paper and say, oh, I don't know, let me see what you got. And then they see that you're playing a Warlock. Why do you have this wizard cantrip? HE for Half Elf. Or you could put racial or elf or however you want to mark it. I highly recommend labeling your spells. What level did you get them at? What's their source, etc. Memory Lapse, it's good to see you again. Hello. We are getting through character number 2 tonight. Oh, that was nice of you, Romantic. And we're going to get an extra language. We can speak, read, and write one extra language of our choice. So, Common, Elven, and question mark. Hey. I don't know. We'll choose something that seems appropriate for the setting. It's a placeholder. So, congratulations. We now have a Spy Elf. And now we got to get to the meat here of the character. Let's go to Warlock. And let's find out what Warlocks do. All right, we're level 4. So if you look at it, look. This is a chart. It has all kinds of stuff, but we only need to worry about what's in blue. Okay? We'll take it one step at a time. Don't worry about it. We are a D8 hit die class. So over here, we're going to put an 8. What that means is our ability to recover our own hit points between battles. You roll a d8 for recovery. So we're a little hardier than a wizard, but we're definitely not a fighter. Because we're level 4, we have 4 d8 hit die to use. And if we go up to level 5, we'll have 5 d8 hit die to use to recover ourselves. We are going to get armor proficiencies with light armor and simple weapons. no tool proficiencies, and we're going to be better at wisdom and charisma saving throws. Okay? Right here, saving throw proficiencies. Now, we're going to get to choose 2 skills from Arcana, Deception, History, Intimidation, Investigation, Nature, and Religion. Well, Deception has already been filled in, so we don't need to worry about that. No problem, Memory. Hopefully you figured out whatever was wrong. This is also why I like to do the background first. What would she choose? Like, what would have led her to a life as a warlock, right? She's incredibly slow to trust. Those that seem the fairest often have the most to hide. I'm always calm no matter the situation. I'm loyal to my friends, not to ideals. Are any of these aspects of her personality crying out for, to be specialized in this skill? Because look, you can sit back and say, well, the party doesn't have someone who's good at investigation, so I guess I'll take investigation. You can do that. Is that optimal? Well, if you're not really digging it as a character, go with who your character is. Go with, make your character a strong character. If there's redundancy, there's redundancy. Not every skill needs to be covered in a party. The 2-step SMS was delayed, so after about 15 minutes, I got like 10 tokens. Oh, jeez. Did they all just come in at once? Something important was taken from me, and I aimed to steal it back, and I turn tail and run when things look bad. Alright. So we have someone who is she's naturally magical as a high elf, right? Just by virtue of being a high elf, she gets a wizard cantrip. And she's also made some kind of a pact with an archfey. In other words, some great fey spirit is giving her a portion of its power in exchange for service, secrets, or something. Dr. Freakface thinks investigation. And Robert is seconding investigation, but you think that this is also intimidation. Okay, and Dr. Freakface is agreeing. Intimidation and investigation. Yeah, she wants to get this thing back, right? She's got to be able to piece clues together. Okay, now we get some starting equipment. By the way, thank you for your feedback on this character. A light crossbow and 20 bolts or any simple weapon. Now that means that we could go with a short bow if we wanted, or we could go with a club or a hammer. So think about what kind of a weapon might you see her using. And we can make her a strength warlock, we can make her a dex warlock, and there are weapons that can be used with either, and she'd be good at it. So what kind of a weapon would you see someone like this using? Also, we have a component pouch or an arcane focus. They're both going to be able to provide the material component of a... Oh, you had an idea? What was the idea, Robert? Let's give her an arcane focus. But let's make this a trinket from the list. Makes most sense with the background, you think? Oh, I'm sorry. You want me to look back, Robert? I thought you said that you had Dark Wolf, you had an undercover cop, something like that. Thing is, she's going to steal back her honor that's been stolen when she was set up for a fall. Oh, I'm sorry I missed that, Robert. That's cool. So that's the something, right? It wasn't just an object. She's going to steal back her honor that was stolen when she was set up for a fall. That is, oh, I'm going to write that down as a note here. Nice, nice, nice. A Scholar's Pack or a Dungeoneer's Pack? I think she's going to be the type to a Dungeoneer's Pack. Right? This helps, you know, it's some torches, it's some survival gear, things to go through a dungeon, because she might very well have to infiltrate a bandit gang or a hideout or some ruins or something along those lines. Definitely say that things playing off of charisma and wisdom would be huge as well, says Memory. Bubonic One is thinking of giving her the stat spread of 8, 12, 10, 13, 14, and 15. Could switch wisdom and dex. So a 14, well, okay, so do we want a 14 and a 14, or do we want a 12 and a 16? So you all, like, think about Bubonic's proposal for a stat spread, and do you like it? Would you think that it's better to swap, to keep, or do you have a completely different array? Do you actually see her as a strong character, you know, who is going to use her muscles? Leather armor, any simple weapon, and 2 daggers. Alright, so we're going to get some sort of a weapon up here. Then we'll go for another simple and dagger X2. So this is going to be an LCB or any simple weapon to fill in. Got to think about what weapons she might use if she doesn't want to use her magic or can't. Yes, she is a she's a tome, a Fatome lock. At first level, you've struck a bargain with an otherworldly being of your choice, the Archfey, the Fiend, or the Great Old One, each of which is detailed at the end of the class description. Your choice grants you features at first level, and again, at etc. and so forth. Alright, we're not going to be worried about magic just yet. 14 wisdom skills makes sense with the character. Okay, we can keep it 14. So yeah, we're going over spell casting right now. Not going to worry about it. Let's see, at 4th level, oh, we're going to know 3 cantrips. So I'm going to label this 1, a 2, a 3, a 3. We're going to know 2, we're going to have 2 spell slots of 2nd level. Now, Warlocks are weird. They are not traditional casters, as you may know them from other editions or other role-playing games. They kind of... They slot magic into themselves to improve themselves. Their ability to cast, though, is more limited. Now, her going for a Tome Warlock will expand that a little bit more. But as you can see, at this level, she only has 2 2nd level spell slots, and that's it. Robert is thinking to go 10, 12 with an 8 con, 15 int, of 14. So you think 10, 12, 8, 15, 13, 14? We can do that as well. Robert, what... make your pitch. What is... why do you want it arranged the way that you do? And again, this isn't a challenge. This isn't like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. No, you all have... there's still 30 or so of you in the chat. There are 30 different minds, either new or old players, who you think differently. You've had different experiences. This same character is manifesting in 30 different ways out there in Twitch land. So I don't mind if you have different ideas. We're also going to know 2 invocations. There we go. Proficiency bonus of 2. What else are we getting here? In your study of occult lore, you have unearthed eldritch invocations, fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue you with a magical ability. At 2nd level, you gain 2 of these of your choice. Your invocation options are detailed at the end. When you gain a certain Warlock level, you can gain additional invocations of your choice. Additionally, when you gain a level in this class, you can choose one of the invocations you know and replace it with another invocation that you could learn at that level. And of course, we're going to get our Pact boon at level 3. We are going Pact of the Tome. We get a grimoire called the Book of Shadows. When you gain this feature, choose 3 cantrips from any class's spell list. While the book is on your person, you can cast those cantrips at will. They don't count against your number of cantrips known. If you lose your Book of Shadows, you can perform a 1-hour ceremony to receive a replacement from your patron. So now you can see here, like we have a high elf, and then we have 1, 2, 3. We've technically run out of room here, at least on the front page. So if we go here to our actual spell casting page, we have a high elf 1. We have 1. We have 2. We have 3. And then we have our Book of Shadows. And we're going to get 3 cantrips out of here. 1, 2, 3. Remember, labeling is your friend for this stuff. That way, if you take a cleric cantrip and your DM is looking at your sheet, like, how do you have this? This doesn't make sense. You can say, no, Book of Shadows, it's cool. I'm legal beagle. Okay, we also are going to get an expanded spell list. The Archfate lets you choose from an expanded list of spells when you learn a Warlock spell. The following spells are added to the Warlock spell list for you. So we can choose Fairy Fire and Sleep. And we can also cast Calm Emotions and Phantasmal Force. If we choose to expand that. So we can put here, let's see, we have 0 first level slots, and then we have 2 second level slots. Expanded spell list. Fairy Fire and Sleep. Now, this does not mean that this is just given to us. This just means it's available if we want to learn these spells. So we're making a note that we can include this. And if you don't want something like this, because again, Warlocks are weird casters. If you don't want this on your sheet, you don't have to. This doesn't mean that you always have these ready and prepared. Kind of like with a Cleric domain. That's not the case. Calm Emotions and Phantasmal Force. So, expanded spell list, and we've noted that here. We have what is called a Fey Presence. Starting at first level, your patron bestows upon you the ability to project the beguiling and fearsome presence of the Fey. As an action, you can cause each creature in a 10-foot cube originating from you to make a wisdom saving throw against your Warlock spell save. The creatures that fail their saving throw are all charmed or frightened by you, your choice, until the end of your next turn. Dun, da, da, da. She's thin, so con would be low. Strength at 10 means she's wiry. She's a high elf, so int will be encouraged. That's true, Robert. Same time, though, muscle weighs a lot, so low strength would make sense with how light she is. Memory says the ability to cast her spells is huge. Being a spy, she definitely needs enough in stealth, investigation, and perception. She will need strength for fighting in jail and escaping. Now she charms her way out. She never has to fight if she's good enough at talking. Well, and we're presuming that she's already out. You know, she's out and escaped, and perhaps this Archfey took pity on her, or, you know, gave her an escape or a release of some way, and in return, she is offering her services to this Archfey entity. So if we look at that, then this is... you're thinking 10, 12, 8. $13, $14, $15. Not if she was a traitor. I don't know if I follow, Robert. Oh, we get 2 invocations. So these are spell-like abilities that we just carry on ourselves by virtue of being a warlock. Agonizing Blast, Armor of Shadows, Ascendance. No, we can't take that. That has a prerequisite at 9th level. You can cast Speak with Animals at will without expending a spell slot. That could be interesting. Let's look at her. Let's look at her personality again. Incredibly slow to trust. I'm always calm. I'm loyal to friends, not to any ideals. Something important was taken from me, and I aim to steal it back. Turn tail and run. Mask of Many Faces could be interesting. You can cast Disguise Self at will without expending a spell slot. Misty Visions. You can cast Silent Image at will without expending a spell slot or material components. We can't take one with shadows just yet because this is a level 4 character we're making, and that has a 5th level. Thief of 5 Fates. You can cast Bane once using a Warlock spell slot. You can't do so again until you finish a long rest. Dark Wolf, thank you for the host. So we get 2 of these here. Eyes of the Runekeeper, you can read all writing. We can improve her Eldritch Blast in different ways. We can make it repelling, we could increase its distance or its damage. Devil's Sight, we can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, at a distance of 120 feet. Eldritch Sight, we can cast Detect Magic at will without expending a spell slot. Do any of these seem like this is in her, this is in her her nature? Okay, so Robert wants to put her in at 15 and her charisma at 14. That's not a problem. Again, we don't have to run optimal characters. Warlock's cast off of charisma, but I mean, if she's smarter than she is has a presence, that's perfectly fine. $15, $14, $13, $10, $12, $8. We're still within the realm of what we're doing here. So I'm sorry. Chewie says she wants to run the knockback with Eldritch Blast is nice along with Mask. Okay, so we can give her the invocations of. Oops. Repelling Blast. And Mask of Many Faces. Alenia for her first name. Alright, so we're still looking for more name components for her as a high elf. Alter Self for the other one would work with her story in a neat way. Memory Lapse, 15 and 14 as of right now doesn't make much of a difference other than where to place the leveling points first. Yeah, I agree, Memory. Yep. Yeah, I'd say I mean, because it would really be, what, a 16 int, and then with her ability stat, if we wanted, we could bring her charisma up to a 16 also if we wanted. There's no problem in doing so. We do not have to make optimized characters. We want to make compelling characters. Having a very smart Warlock is non-traditional, and I think that we can, you know, it makes us think. Is it just condensation? Yeah. My ice water left some water on my desk. Okay. By the way, do note, as a Warlock, you do not get ritual casting. So you would have to take the feat or something similar if you want rituals as a Warlock. Okay, cool. So if we apply this, her int is 16. And her dexterity is 14. We're probably going to want to go more of the dex route, I guess. We have leather armor. That's going to give us. Well, hang on. So where do we want to put the? Where do we want to put the ability score improvement? We get 2 points that we could put into one stat, or 1 point to put into 2 stats. Where do we want to take this? Well, not necessarily, Risky Luke. If a spy is someone who can infiltrate and overhear, that's Dex and Wisdom. Charisma doesn't necessarily have that much to do with a spy, unless you're a social spy. We rolled that we are going straight for a stat bump, Chewie, but yes, under other circumstances where a DM allows feats, because 5th edition offers feats as an option, you could do that. But we rolled that she's going to take the stat bump. You want to put that in charisma? Alright, so if we do that, that's going to put her final score at 16. So we have a 0, 2, whoops, minus 1. Let's put that back to a 2. 3, 3, and 1. Rogue Infinity asks, I still have trouble. What's the difference between wizard and sorcerer? Okay. Anyone, well, almost anyone with you know, a brain can be a wizard. It's a matter of study. You look at books and diagrams, you learn math, you learn how to draw, you know, geometric shapes, you learn the names of things. You learn by study. You cast out of your book. The book has your spells. The book has your methodology for casting spells. If you're a sorcerer, not everyone can be a sorcerer. If you're a sorcerer, you're a mutant, right? In Marvel Universe, you're an X-Man. The magic comes from within you. You are magical. You're casting from your blood, your being. You know, could you multi-class a wizard sorcerer? Sure, you could. You know, nothing would stop you there. But if we're just looking at a wizard and we're looking at a sorcerer, sorcerers are mutants, right? It's just a part of who they are. They went through puberty and developed, you know, they found magical powers where they had none before. Maybe they've been magical since, you know, since they could speak and like actually move their hands in some coherent way. Maybe they became a sorcerer after an accident, a magical accident that infused them, right? Again, think like gamma radiation in the Hulk. You don't accidentally become a wizard. You could accidentally become a sorcerer, I guess, or you're born with it. But a wizard, look, if you have a halfway decent intelligence, I think you need an intelligence score of 13 at least, which is slightly above average. You can become a wizard through enough study. Hopefully that answers your question, Rogue. All right, let's fill in a couple more things here. Initiative is a dexterity check, so that's going to be a +2. Armor class, leather starts you at 11 plus dex, so she has a 13. Yep, you're very welcome, Rogue. Passive, we're not there yet. Okay, so let's look at this. Strength saving throw is 0, athletics is 0 because our modifier is 0. Dexterity is going to be 2, 2, and 2. Aha, but we're proficient in stealth, meaning we add our proficiency bonus up here. So 2 and 2 is 4, unless I've missed out on all this new math stuff. Constitution is -1. We're going to transfer that over. Intelligence, 3, 3, 3. Investigation, however, is going to be a 5 because we're proficient at it. 3 nature, 3 religion. Wisdom, now we're proficient at this saving throw. Therefore, we have a 3 to this. And we're going to have a 3 to our perception. Everything else is going to be a 1 because we're not proficient at it, but our basic level of wisdom gives us a general aptitude. Now for charisma, saving throw is 5, deception is 5, intimidation is 5, performance is 3, and persuasion is 3. We can take this number and come up to our passive perception, which is going to be 13. It's 13 because your passive perception measures your innate awareness, your peripheral vision, how well you hear background stuff. It's 10 plus your proficiency modifier. Memory lapse, that's true. Because you're casting the magic from you, you have an innate ability to modify the magic you project. And so you can modify spells easier than a wizard who is running spells by the book, very literally. All right, current hit points. We are a D8 class, so at level 1, you get your maximum hit points for your hit die. All levels past level 1, so therefore 3, right? We're a level 4 character. We've already taken care of level 1. I suggest going the half plus 1 method. In this case, it's going to be 5, right? Half of 8 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Ah, but wait, there's more. And in this case, it might not be for the best, but every level, you get bonus hit points. So look, every level. So in this case, it's going to be a 4 because we're including first level and up. You get your bonus hit points based on your con modifier. In this case, it's going to be 4 times -1. So here we have -4 hit points, and we have 15. Whoops. So we have 11 plus 8 is 19. So she has 19 hit points at level 4. We can go down here, and her spell attack is based off of charisma. So, and she's also proficient at spells. I'd hope so, right? So her attack is a +5. The difficulty to resist the effects of her spells is going to be 8 plus your attack. In this case, it's 13. Yeah, memory, that's a good way of putting it, actually. Although a hacker, but you don't really need something else because you're hacking it intrinsically. You don't have a spell book or anything. Okay, we're making really good progress. In fact, we're almost done, save for her spells, and we'll do her spells in part 3. Let's make the character, and then we can talk about spells for both Saffron and Alenia something. Does Alenia have a last name? Is Alenia her code name? Is that all she goes by? Let's bring a little bit more to her here too. Let's go to equipment in chapter 5. We can give her a light crossbow or any simple weapon, and then we can give her another simple weapon, whether it's melee or ranged. She is a more dex than strength character. So what we're looking for is probably going to be a ranged weapon or a melee weapon that has the finesse property. For instance, if we look at the dagger, it says finesse right here. If it says finesse, that means you can use your dexterity to hit and your bonus damage on a hit instead of your strength, even if you're using it in melee. So if we go a light crossbow here, then we can give her some other simple weapon. Let's see, she's an elf. She has the weapon training. So maybe she's kept her family short bow that's been given to her. You like darts? Okay, we can go darts. Okay, all of these can use dexterity, so 2 plus 2, because she's proficient with all of them, is going to be a 4. A dart is 1d4, in this case plus 2 piercing. A dagger is going to be the same, piercing. And a light crossbow is 1d8 plus 2 piercing. Darts are underrated. Robert, you know, we could eventually go on to buy a rapier, though with the starting package that we're given, a rapier was not offered. So a rapier wouldn't be a bad idea for her to acquire, given her talents. But as we're building by the book, as a character, she wouldn't be given one intrinsically by her background or her class. Yeah, she's probably not going to fight with it too much. Rogue, do you use darts for... I mean, aside from just using it as like little like kunai or shuriken or whatever, do you use darts in interesting ways to, you know, to use it, or I don't want to say to back up your claim. I agree. Not a lot of people think of darts, but how do you use darts, or how do you conceptualize darts to help encourage people to use them more often? Because monk, if you're a monk, it gives you 10 darts because those are your throwing stars or whatever. I used darts for my bard when I played that character. A short sword, by the way, hi MacGyver, a short sword would be, though it is not a simple weapon, so we're not given one. Oh, you use your darts as pitons, like for rock climbing pitons. That'd really hurt, man. You're throwing some blunt darts after you climb that cliff. Although in a pinch, right? If you got to climb that cliff, then do it. Okay, we're going to give her Arcane Focus as a trinket of some kind. Trinkets aren't necessarily magical items, but they're kind of strange or weird. And hey, I figure, look, we have a Warlock. You've made a pact with some Archfey character, and the Archfey gave her some kind of a trinket to use to cast her spells. We're going to roll a D100. 81. She gets an 81. A purple handkerchief embroidered with the name of a powerful archmage or archmage. Interesting. So there's a plot hook too. By the way, trinkets are also your friend as a DM for plot hooks. Cool. We have a very neat character. And there's nothing really on the side for her to measure or use, so we can just leave this other pool of power or whatever empty. It was more of a support bar. Darts were used as distractions. Darts aren't thought of as being very cool or epic, which is mostly why people play D&D in the first place. Risky wants to use a sickle. Sickles are underrated too, Risky. Robert, or jamming a door so they can't be opened. That's a very good tactic. You know, that right there, by the way, Robert, that is a hallmark that you are an old school D&D player. Oozes can get under a door. I mean, look, nothing's foolproof. Oh, and by the way, she is going to get... If we go back here real quick. Let's zoom in. You see here where it says spells known? At first level, we're going to know 2 spells. And because we have spell slots in first level, that means that we can come down here and go level 1. Now, you are not a wizard. You can change these out between levels to a degree. But if you take a spell, that's your spell. You know, it's like a bard. It's a part of you. Now, at second level, you see how we go up to spells known being 3. But yet our slot level is still first. So we go here, and we put level 2. Now, at third level, we go up to 4 spells known, but we can cast in the second level. You can put level 3 here, or if you want another first level spell, put level 3 here. You can always downgrade. But let's just continue if we're taking things as we get them. So level 3, and finally at level 4, we go up to 5 spells known. We still have 2 spell slots of second level, and so that's as high as we can cast. And so level 4 is going to end right here. And then when we go back and look at the spells in part 3, because I'm going to take another quick break. When we go there, then we can fill this in, and you'll see how that works. So we have Alenia something or another as her family name, and her agent name will be Dart Jammer. Agent Dart Jammer. Are you there? Can you read me? Dart Jammer, come in. The ooze is under the door. Yes, I repeat, the ooze is under the door. You know what must be done. Dr. Freakface, on a side note, another difference between Sorks and Wizards is that in the game I'm running Sorks are hunted down and taken to a temple of Mephistopheles and are drained of the magic in the body. Yes, right? Because so there's something special about them. Jamming the door saved your life many times, Bubonic. MacGyver says, I used an arrow to jam a lock in order to buy my party some time before getting locked out of our escape route by a jerk NPC. Oh no. Okay, so think of a family name for her, and aside from choosing spells, which we could do in part 3, she's pretty much finished. 100%, a hundo. She is definitely one hundo. True good. Because people just can't have that type of power intrinsically. Where's the checks and balances? Alright, everyone. Hang tight for a little bit here. I'll be back in no more than, like 5-10 minutes, no more than 10. And we'll look. It'll be free time. Look, we've made our characters. We've done our homework. Yay! We can talk about spells and we can share stories and go from there as well. And all of you, when I come back, are going to receive 40 experience points for being cool and hanging out and making it to part 3. So you'll have a little bit more currency to play our games and to have fun. No family name. She has been disowned. So she is just Alenia is by what she goes here, but her agent name is Dart Jammer. There we go. Nanav, good night to you. Well, I guess it would be good morning for you because it's about 10 a.m. right? So Nanav, I'll be back shortly. I'm going to take a break and we'll go from there.